Hey, everybody.
Let's see. Hi,
How y'all doing?
pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody?
Hey, Crystal.
I'm excited.
Hey. Oh, my goodness.
Wait.
I'm really excited to see you, ladies.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, it's good to be
I've never
here.
met you, Maureen. Did I say it
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
Hi. So, Maureen, now where are you?
I am in Detroit.
Okay. All right.
I'm in Detroit.
Somebody had a 630 number.
That would be Angie.
Hey.
Okay.
She's on here. She just
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
have
know
her
why my
camera turned
camera's
on.
not showing. I'm not sure. Let me see.
Hello, Erica.
Hey,
Shauna.
Crystal, we're going to be making an appointment.
Hey, Shauna, how you doing?
Hey. Just trying to get stuff.
Maureen,
Yes.
I'm gonna go out and come back in because I'm not sure when my camera's not coming up. I don't have anything blocked, so I'm not
Okay.
sure why. Let me see.
Oh, where'd you go, Angie?
Said she had to go back out because her she don't know why her camera's not playing.
Okay.
I can't.
He's actually at work right now.
I know, but I can't record. I can't record. He needs to give me permission to record. Because he's supposed to make me.
It looks as if it's recording.
Okay. Okay. No problem. As long as it's recording, we're good.
It says recording in the on my screen.
Oh, hold on, let me expand my screen. Okie dokie. I'm all good now.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, still no picture from Angie.
I'm not sure. Hold on. Wait a minute.
You ladies have some really great bios. You've done a lot.
Thank you.
It's really good to see, women, in this field.
Yeah.
Male-dominated field, and y'all doing y'all thing. I am so proud of y'all.
Oh, thank you.
I thank you. Maureen, are you teaching music or?
No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
No, ma'am. I wish. I wish I could do what you all do.
All right. So what did you do with music? You went to Pine Bluff?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do?
I played the clarinet and tenor saxophone.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a musician.
Woodwinds in the house. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You couldn't have picked a better thing to do.
Hey, I know.
Great use of your free time, wasn't it?
And I loved every minute of it too. I did.
Chris wanted me to remind you that this seminar is being broadcasted live on YouTube.
Wow.
And if you look at Chris's description, you see in the chat?
Yes.
You see what he got on his description?
Yes.
Congratulations, Chris.
Congratulations. Hello, Polly. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you.
It's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to see everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Alicia.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am great.
Wonderful, wonderful.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. I tried. It's a special occasion. Women in music.
It is. So we're going to wait a little bit longer.
Okay.
Is Angie here? Oh, I see her. Okay.
She
am.
is,
I'ma
but her
switch.
camera's working.
I'm gonna switch computers real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Angie.
All right, when all else fails, you switch to another device. I don't know.
I had the same problem. I had another, the Maryland State Educators Association, and the person, my phone wouldn't act right. The Zoom, my Wi-Fi kept going out and I couldn't get access. So I had to do the introduction, but someone else had to host because I couldn't pull up the information, but it's working fine now. But this morning it was, my Wi-Fi was really shaky.
Alicia, where are you?
I'm in Maryland, Prince George's County, right outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay, so you're there.
Oh, you from hometown.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I'm
I'm
from Baltimore. Well, I
Missouri.
live in Baltimore, but I'm from Prince George's County. I'm from Accokeek, Maryland, Fort Washington. I started out Fort Washington and moved.
Hey, because I started out, well, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I went to UAPB, but I came up here years ago when I went to Morgan State and Goucher. So I was in Baltimore City for 14 years and then Baltimore County for 3 years before I came to work as a teacher for Prince George's County.
That's interesting because I live in Baltimore County and I moved from PG 3 years ago.
Where are you at? I used to live in Pikesville and then I lived in Parkville.
Randallstown.
Oh, okay, so you were right up the street from me.
Mhm.
I was right off of Liberty Road at St. Charles at Old Court Apartments.
I live off of Old Court. So
Okay.
small world.
Small world.
Small world.
Alicia,
Well, hello, Maurice.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, and you? Hey, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how's everybody?
Fine,
Great,
wonderful.
great.
Glad you got your glasses on, Mo.
Yeah.
I love her glasses. She always has the dopest glasses, Mo. Yep.
Hello, Rashonda. How are you?
Oh, we got
Maybe I
nice
should do the
ones.
Brady Bunch view. Yeah, the Brady Bunch view. I always call
I
it.
know.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Okay. Waiting on Francis. A few other people. So what is the weather like where everyone is? You got that nice weather like we have here in Detroit right now?
We got rain and it's coming your way.
No,
Oh,
why
you-
you always trying to give us some bad weather?
No, we don't want that.
That is terrible, Shauna. You should do that.
See
to
how
people.
weather.
well, my car says 62 degrees, but it's only officially 55, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow
Wait a minute. Where are you, Roxanne?
in Chicago.
Oh, in Chi-Town.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send that snow right on through to Detroit.
No, please, no.
No, we don't need snow.
Don't do it.
No
I
snow.
don't want to see it
Done with
anymore.
snow.
It was 75 degrees yesterday and today is 45. Welcome to Maryland. That's just how
Hi,
Maryland.
Benita.
Oh, and it is going to snow next week in May, definitely. But
On
it's
camera,
6
y'all. I wasn't prepared. Alicia called me at the last minute.
Yes, I was talking. We always talk and reminisce, and so I invited Benita. So she's one of our band members. She was in the band with us at UAPB.
Hey, Maurice.
Hi,
Benita.
Francis.
Hey, I'm trying to get in here. There we go.
How are you?
I'm good, and you? There we go.
I do. I need to get my ink pen real quick. I have a red one to write with, and I need a black pen. Let me get a black one real quick.
Okay, see if we got any more people.
Maureen with all that pretty hair.
Thank you.
I'm coming
Thank
in on
you.
my other device, Maureen.
Okay, Roxanne has a lot of hair too, I see.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right. Benita and Maureen.
Okay, we got some more people joining in. Oh, well, look at this here. We have more people. I am so enjoying this. I am excited.
So you're gonna be the gatekeeper, Maureen?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, here we go.
Ready? You shut the other one down, Angie? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, let me shut that one down.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Okay. We got-
Hey, Mo.
Hey.
Hey.
Which one?
Right, I'm gonna say which one?
Oh, Maurice lost it.
Two people
That's
with the
me.
same
That's
name.
me. I'm turning my other one off. There we go. Turn my backup on just so I can read.
Hi, everybody.
Well, hello, Angie.
Hi.
Hey, had some computer
Hey.
issues. My camera wouldn't work, so I had to switch to my work computer. So, welcome, 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 everybody. Rashonda and Roxanne. Hey, Roxanne.
Hi, Angie. Crystal,
Thank you
that's
guys for being so patient.
screensaver.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
Francis.
Hey,
It's been a minute since
I
you've been up
know.
here.
I know.
I see
Hey,
another person from MSU, Morgan State. One of my
Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah.
Morgan State.
The Bears are in the house.
We got 4 minutes before we get ready to start, y'all.
So this is streaming from Facebook, or is YouTube to Facebook? Or I don't even know.
It's streaming on both YouTube and Facebook Live.
Whose page
I
is
think
it streaming
do I
from?
hear Erica?
Whose Facebook
Yeah,
is it
that's
on?
me.
Hi, Erica. I'm sorry. I didn't get a chance.
Hey,
Hey, Erica.
I'm looking sleepy because I ain't been asleep yet. So
Lord.
Hey, Ariel. Hey, Obi.
Hey.
Hey, Presley.
Yeah. Hey, Obi. Hey, Benita. Hey,
Hey.
Benita.
Hey.
Who is, hey, Wendy. Hey, Mo. Which Mo?
Which
Maureen.
Mo?
You are not Mo. Put your other nickname on there.
I got you.
Because that's gonna happen every time we say Mo.
Right.
It's on both of them.
It's supposed to be Puppy Love.
World's greatest crab name.
Oh, that's your crab name?
I am so excited to see all these people logging on.
Hi, Terrell. Hey, Avian.
Roxanne, were any of the
Hey, Dr.
undergrads
Stevenson.
Hey, how
able to
everybody
join
doing?
today?
Hey, Ms. Stevenson.
Yeah, we have Terrell, Avian, Ariel, and Obi,
Okay.
and
hey, Obi, hi, Terrell.
Hey.
How's
Welcome
everybody
back.
doing?
How y'all doing?
Fine. Nice to
Hey,
see you.
Erica.
Talk to you. Hey.
Oh my goodness, look at all these people.
All right, Madam President, it's now 2:00. Would you like for me to do the prayer so we can get started?
Just one moment, please. We have a panelist that's trying to come in, Dawn Wilson. She had a little technical difficulty, so we have to resend the link to her. Just be
No
patient.
problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I think she's,
Hey, Don.
I just seen her. Oh, there she is. Hey,
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good
good
afternoon.
afternoon.
How are you?
Dawn.
I'm doing all right. Well, good and blessed and fully vaccinated. I'm good.
That's right.
Hi,
Me too. You have Pfizer or Moderna?
Moderna.
Okay, I have Pfizer.
I had
Yeah.
Moderna yesterday.
We meet again.
Has anybody had any issues from the vaccine?
Just
Yeah,
a
I
sore throat.
did. I did from the second one. The first one I was fine. The second one, just a fever and a headache.
Yeah, me
For 2
too.
days, but it
I
wasn't
have a
really
sore
bad.
arm so far.
Very sore.
Most of it's from the, I think it's mostly Moderna that has the real bad side effects.
That's what I heard.
Well, I had Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah, I had Pfizer too.
I had Moderna.
Okay, we can go ahead and get started now. I am seeing other individuals that are registering for the seminar.
Okay.
Before we do the prayer, my name is Christopher Giles. I am the chairperson of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Kappa Kappa Psi Tau Beta Sigma Regional Alumni Association. Our professional development team put this together. This was on our 1 and 5 year plan for our Regional Alumni Association. I personally want to thank each and every one of you guys for being on here, especially to our panelists, to Ms. Roxanne Stevenson, Don Wilson, Kristen Williams. There you go.
Rashonda Jones,
Rashonda
Polly
Jones,
Middleton.
and Miss Middleton. Absolutely. We started this as Alumni Association a year and 3 months ago, full-fledged now. Don Wilson has been on several of our Zoom seminars, and we just want to get the word spread it out and want to celebrate March, which is Women in Music, Women's Month, and we emphasizing on music. I am going to have to step away because I'm in the process of doing something to complete, but I just want to say thank you guys and enjoy the rest of the seminar, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, puppy, you can go on with the prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for letting us come together as a unit, a group of musicians and loved ones. Father, we ask you to let this seminar touch somebody. In Jesus' name we ask, amen.
Amen.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Apologies for the mix-up of the times. When we was putting it together and we was saying, okay, this time Central, this time Eastern, we kind of flip-flopped everything. So we're just going to apologize for that. My name is Shauna Holmes. I am one of the commentators, I guess. I'm asking questions. Maureen Carroll, Mo Lawrence, Angie Whedon, we are all part of, and Akeem Scruggs are all part of the Professional Development Committee. So we're the ones that are your hosts for today. I am Spring 1988. Yes, I'm old head. So
Ancient.
no, you might want to talk to Wendy about that. But anyway,
Watch it.
but anyway, Delta Pi, once again, Spring 88. So we have a set of questions for our panelists, and we will start out with a general question to all of the panelists. What inspired you to be a professional musician?
Before we do that, do you want me to read the bios for each person?
My apologies.
Okay, thank you. So hi, I'm Angie Whedon. I'm the Professional Development Chairperson. And thank you all for attending. Just like Christopher Giles stated, we have 6 panelists today. So thank you all for participating today. So we'll first start off. I'll read all the bios, the wonderful bios Maureen talked about. I'm just blown away at all of these bios. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Can I connect my earpiece?
To you?
Yeah, where's the
The first one is Don Wilson. Don Wilson, here's some feedback a little bit from Fred. Okay. Don Wilson is a gifted and talented young lady from Silver Spring, Maryland. Miss Wilson is now a middle school band director in Alexandria, Virginia. She has earned a master's degree in music education from Howard University in Washington, D.C. She earned her bachelor's degree in music education from Grambling State University. Ms. Wilson started playing the trumpet when she was 10 years old and has not stopped since then. She also plays the cornet, flugelhorn, piccolo trumpet, and teaches brass instruments to young aspiring musicians. Besides teaching middle school band, Dawn Wilson is very active in her community by teaching private lessons, group music lessons, and performing in numerous music ensembles. She currently performs with the Nova Concert Band in Alexandria, Virginia, the Sanctified Symphony Orchestra in Alfred Street Baptist Church, Go-Go Symphony, and the DC String Orchestra. Ms. Wilson participated in numerous ensembles throughout her secondary, undergraduate, and graduate education. Her involvement and talent has earned her several musicianship awards and scholarships. Dawn Wilson was an active member of the Jazz Ensemble, Concert Band, and Symphonic Orchestra, and the marching band at both of her collegiate institutions. Okay, Ms. Wilson's professional affiliations include being a member of Tau Beta Sigma, National Honorary Band Sorority, Sigma Alpha Iota, International Music Fraternity for Women, and the National Association for Music Educators. She represented Howard University in the HBCU Directors Consortium for 2 consecutive years while in graduate school. In 2013 and 2014, Ms. Wilson has also earned the privilege of traveling to Vienna, Austria, and Siena in Italy to study music and perform chamber music. Dawn Wilson has also been blessed to perform with and share the stage with renowned jazz artists such as Benny Golson, Hugh, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Roy Hargrove, Tom Brown, Javen Jackson, Hubert Laws, Sonny Fortune, Miriam Meadows, and Marcus Johnson. In addition to so many blessed opportunities, one of Ms. Wilson's most recent accolades was performing in the Color of Music Festival in Charleston, South Carolina, and Pittsburgh, PA, in October 2018 and February 2019. Furthermore, she was selected as a participant of the trumpet seminar at the Chosen Val Center for Advanced Music Studies in New Hampshire in 2014. In the future, Dawn Wilson has aspirations to earn a doctorate in music and become a college music professor. Ms. Wilson's ultimate goal is to inspire her students through music and become a music ambassador. Dawn Wilson. We have 6. Do we want to go through all 6 right now or take a break and come back? How do we want to do this?
Do the second one, then we'll do a couple of other questions, and then we'll go back through.
Thank you. Frances Walker. From a young age, Frances Walker learned beauty and poise from her mother, Joan Vaughn Walker. She instilled within her a strong sense of spirituality as well as a love for people, music, and life. She attended Jackson State University, where she performed with the Sonic Boom of the South, marching band, jazz, and symphonic bands as well. In the fall of 1990, she was accepted into the membership of National Honorary Sorority for Outstanding Bandswomen, Tau Beta Sigma Zeta Iota chapter. In 1995, Frances continued to follow in her mother's footsteps by becoming a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and graduating with honors from Jackson State University with a BS in elementary education. She later obtained her master's degree in educational leadership from Wayne State University. She was a teacher and administrator in one of the largest urban school districts for over 20 years. She has a gift of connecting with people through empowerment, encouragement, and music. Her students love her and have maintained relationships even throughout adulthood. She currently performs with the Blue Dawn Band as the lead saxophonist. Following her passion to determine her own destiny, she completed several mastermind training institutes and continues to be an innovative entrepreneur and motivational speaker, trainer, and visionary in the industry. It is an honor to be selected to serve. Rashonda Jones. Rashonda Jones is a native of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where she currently resides. She is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernard Gardner Sr. Rashonda has two children, Jayla, age 17, and Ryan, age 14. Rashonda attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in music education, K through 12, as well as a Master of Science degree in early childhood education, K through 6. She also has a master's degree in educational leadership from Concordia University. While matriculating at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Rashonda participated in many activities. She is a member of Tau Beta Sigma National Honorary Sorority, as well as Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She has been an educator for 21 years. She taught in Terrell, Arkansas, Dallas, Texas, England, Arkansas, and Pine Bluff, Arkansas. She taught music for 18 years. She is currently teaching second grade at 34th Avenue Elementary School, where she is also a sponsor for the drill team. Okay, we'll keep going. Polly Middleton, Dr. Polly Middleton. Dr. Polly Middleton is the director of athletic bands at Virginia Tech and Blacksburg, Virginia. In addition to directing the Marching Virginians, Dr. Middleton also directs the symphonic band and teaches music education courses. Prior to her appointment at Virginia Tech, Dr. Middleton was the director of athletic bands at Illinois State University in her hometown of Normal, Illinois, where she directed the 300-member Big Red Marching Machine, the symphonic band, and taught music education classes. Previous to her time at Illinois State, Middleton was the director of the Sound of the Natural State Marching Band at Arkansas State University, where she also directed the men's and women's basketball prep bands. She also conducted the concert band and taught courses in music education. Dr. Middleton was the Associate Director of Athletic Bands at Virginia Tech from 2011 through 2016, where she was the Assistant Director of the Marching Virginians and the Director of the Hokies Pep Band. She taught multiple classes and directed the Symphony Band. Dr. Middleton received a Doctor in Music Education at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. She earned a Master's of Degree in Wind Conducting from Indiana University and a Bachelor's of Music Education degree from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where she was drum major for the Marching Illini. Middleton played horn and the top ensembles at Indiana University and the University of Illinois. Her public school experience includes 4 years as the Associate Director of Bands at Plainfield High School, Central Campus in Plainfield, Illinois. Dr. Middleton is an honorary member of Tau Beta Sigma, Kappa Kappa Psi, Sigma Alpha Iota, and Delta Omicron. Her professional membership include the National Association of Music Education, College Band Directors, National Association, and the National Band Association. She is the past recipient of Gary E. Smith Award for Excellence in Marching Illini in Wind Symphony. As a doctoral student, Middleton was awarded the A.A. Harding Award, the most prestigious recognition awarded for outstanding performance, achievement, and service to the University of Illinois Bands. As a faculty member at Virginia Tech, Dr. Middleton was named Music Professor of the Year, awarded by the Gamma Mu chapter of Delta Omicron. She is an active clinician, guest conductor, adjunct, and performer. Roxanne Stevenson is a professor of music education and director of bands, music education, and gospel music coordinator and woodwind instructor at Chicago State University. She earned a BS from Bethune-Cookman University and the MS degree from the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, both in music education. A saxophonist, she performed regularly with the weekly gospel music show, Sensation, and currently plays for Trinity United Church of Christ, aired nightly. She has performed with Bernie Mac, Vicki Winans, Gene Carnes, Sherelle, the Shy Lights, and many others. She is also saxophonist and arranger on CDs by several artists, groups, including Stellar Award, Grammy Award nominated Unplugged by Ricky Diller, and the Stay Connected CD by Trinity United Church of Christ that traces the music of Africans in Dysphoria from Africa to America. Professor Stevenson is a jazz coordinator for the Historically Black Colleges and Universities National Band Directors Consortium and vice president of the African American Jazz Caucus. She serves as a panelist for the Illinois Arts Council, director and master teacher for the Chicago Jazz Philharmonic and the Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp. She serves as adjunct panelist and guest director for numerous marching, concert, and jazz festivals and competitions, and has worked as band, choral director, and classroom music teacher in Indiana and Illinois public and private elementary and high schools. The Chicago State University Community Jazz Band started in 1992 by Professor Stevenson and has presented clinics and performances at the Illinois Music Education Association All-State Conference, Indiana Festivals, the Midwest Clinic Band and Orchestra Clinic, National Association for Negro Musicians Centennial Conference, and the Jazz Education Network Conference. The band was nominated for the 16th Annual Black Excellent Best Performance in Jazz Award presented by the African American Alliance of Chicago for its performance at Trinity's Jazzapalooza. Professor Stevenson also started the Chicago State University Community Concert Band, Gospel Ensemble, Marching Band, and created curriculum and coordinated the BA in Music Gospel concentration. Professor Stevenson is a coordinator to the textbook Teaching Music Through Performance in Jazz, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and is the author of the article Novel to Normal, Seeing Women in Music, published in the Illinois Music Education Journal and the Connecticut Music Education Journal. Ms. Stevens is a member of the Women Band Directors International Diversity Committee, Illinois Music Education Association, Jazz Education Network, Jazz Education Network Sisters and Jazz Committee, National Associate of Music Education, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Phi Beta Mu International, and sponsor of the honorary member of Tau Beta Sigma and Kappa Kappa Psi fraternity. Professor Stevenson received the African American Arts Alliance of Chicago's Black Excellence Award for Outstanding Achievement in Music Jazz. The Absolute Winds of Change, a tribute to Chicago's African American women in jazz, recognized her as a saxophonist educator, and she received a Christian Girls Rock Award. She was a quarterfinalist for the second annual Grammy Music Educators Award. Ms. Stevenson is the mother of two girls, Morgan and Bailey. Crystal Williams. Crystal Williams is currently the band director at Western High School for girls in Baltimore, Maryland. She attended Morgan State University as an undergraduate music major from 1999 to 2005. After receiving her BA in instrumental music, she continued her education in conducting and was the graduate assistant for the Morgan State University Marching Band program. Mrs. Williams also holds a MA in teaching from the College of Notre Dame, Maryland. She is a music teacher for 14 years with Baltimore City Public Schools. She also is a curriculum writer, music education, clinician, new teacher ambassador for Baltimore City Public Schools, all while holding the position of music technology chair for the Maryland Music Educators Association. She is a member of Sigma Alpha Iota International Music Fraternity for Women and a member of the Order of Eastern Stars. She currently resides in Windsor Mill, Maryland, with her husband Dwight and son Matthew. Whew. Wow, awesome.
I would like to acknowledge one other person who's on here. Miss Inger, could you unmute yourself, please?
Hi, everybody.
Now, can you tell just a little bit about yourself?
Oh, really?
Well, I know. Well, see, she released her second single.
I did. My third, actually. Yeah.
Third, okay.
Well, I'm a bass player. I'm a string bass player bass guitar player, Tau Beta Sigma, Jackson State, Zeta Iota. My line sister, number 2, is Frances Walker on your panel today. The lovely ladies I also heard, I'm sorry, I welcome too. My goodness, there's so many accolades to the women in the music over here, but I'm just a small part.
But I just wanted to acknowledge you and congratulate you on your third single.
Yes, guys, if you come on my Facebook page, it's Ivy Sings House. I sing house music. So please join me as much as you can. I plan on doing a live stream, and thank you for the shout out, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Awesome, ladies. Okay, let's get started with the questions. Shauna.
Wow, this is
Wow, I am blown away. Wow, it's awesome.
it's amazing. Okay, so ladies, we have several questions. So we're gonna try to get this going so everybody can hear what you got to say. So first question, what has inspired you? Whichever one can hit the button first. What has inspired you to be a professional musician?
Okay, we'll start with Frances Walker.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
What inspired me was a very powerful band director. You know, so we always talk about the influence of a teacher and of an educator. My band director, Mr. Clifford Sykes, just exposed us to a lot as high school students. And so that's how I ended up coming to Jackson State, because he took us to a Circle City Classic game, and I saw them perform against Florida A&M, and I knew then that's where I wanted to go. And my band director made it happen, because during that time we hadn't even heard about Jackson State here in Michigan, but he made his calls and made some moves and got me an audition. And I came there late to band camp with my little saxophone case, and I auditioned in front of the entire Sonic Boom of the South. Probably a very unorthodox audition, but that's how I got in the band. But what inspired me to take it further and continue on through life is because we had students right there that we sat next to. You know, my section leader, Stephanie Sanders, Ezra Brown, Cedric Eubanks, Andre Delano. These are people who were right there in college with us, who were already at the professional musician level. Still went to college, still graduated, still, you know, became in their, you know, whatever they majored in. So that inspired me, because I saw someone just like me sitting right next to me who still, you know, they might they're in Tokyo this week, or they're, you know, somewhere else next week, and then they're back at school. So I saw that, you know what, if they could do it, I could do it too. So that's what inspired me.
That's my deuce, y'all.
So
I'll go next.
Okay.
My inspiration is kind of similar. I looked up to my junior high and high school band directors, Mr. Maurice Carlton and Mr. Carl Lott, and they were positive role models in my life. And my mother was also a reason why I got into the field of education. They were my music inspiration. My mother was my education inspiration to go into teaching music.
I guess I can go. I come from a hodgepodge of inspiration. One, I have to give accolades to my middle school band director, Roosevelt Pratt. He kind of turned me into, you know, the musician that I am, and gave me that foundation. And he brought that HBCU style to our middle school band program, and I fell in love with it. I knew that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like Mr. Pratt, coming in and writing songs and giving us songs that were culturally relevant, and music that we heard on the radio and things that we heard in movies. But before Mr. Pratt entering his classroom, I have cousins that have been drum majors. And, you know, like, it's typical to look up to your cousins. And my oldest cousin, Corey, he was a drum major in high school, and he came from North Carolina and came to Maryland, and he played all the instruments, all the brass instruments. So they had nothing to do with him but to give him, you know, drum major. That was what they could do with him. And then I have another cousin who marched for Edna Carr, and he would come visit in the summer, and he was the drum major at Edna Carr when he was in high school. And so that kind of influenced me to want to play an instrument and kind of be like them. But I think the biggest inspiration is I have a cousin who's hearing impaired who went to Gallaudet. And I actually learned how to orchestrate from my cousin, Harold Turner, who was hearing impaired, but he started one of the very first bands at Gallaudet University. It was it's kind of like a pop R&B rap group. And he was hearing impaired, and he kind of taught me, don't let anything be a barrier. So it's very amazing that I learned how to write and appreciate music from someone who couldn't hear all of the aspects of music that I can to date.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. Or did I mute? I'll go next. I don't remember not wanting to be a musician. All my cousins, as Crystal said, all my cousins played, and they were in Mississippi, and we didn't have access here in Chicago. But I begged for piano lessons, so my mom found a lady to teach me. So it turned out she was, I don't know if you ever heard of Isabel Joseph Johnson. She was one of the first people to have a television show in Chicago, African-American female. And her daughter, Portia Harris, was my first music teacher. So I did my first piano recital. I played about 5-6 months, and we played the recital. I was playing a song called Bebop Boogie, and the lady screamed in the audience. She's like, "Yeah!" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's it. That's what I want to do." I was stirred. I just loved, that it made somebody happy in the audience like that. And she gave me some roses too. So, and from that day, I just, really wanted to be a musician. Then the downside of it was that by the time I was 13, everybody had a rhythm section in the neighborhood, and I just wanted to gig. My brother had a band, the guys across the street, who the bass player played. Now he's played with David Sanborn for about 20 years, but they all had their own bands. There had to be like 8 bands in the neighborhood. Wow. And the guy who was the best singer in the neighborhood came to my house one day and asked if I could play piano for him. Asked my dad. My dad said no. He was not sending the girl where all the boys were. I was broken hearted because I thought, I had been waiting to be able to get good enough to join somebody's band. So I kind of quit in my head for a minute, and then I went to high school and I said, I'm not playing the piano and I'm getting in the band. So they told me I had to pick an instrument. I had no idea anything about an instrument. So my mom and I looked in the encyclopedia and we found a saxophone. The man was playing on television. I think it might have been Grover Washington, but whatever it was, I liked this. He was straining and everybody was loving it. So I want to play that horn. And from that point, I started playing in high school, because here a lot of times you don't get to play until later. So, that was just one of my goals from that, to be a musician. So my high school band director was Dr. Harold Bray, who later went to Bethune-Cookman and a couple of other places. I think he's one of the most misunderstood guys because he was a great musician. And all I can say is that in high school, we learned what secondary dominants were. And he insisted that we arrange music for concert bands with strings in high school. Wow. So he taught us all as if we were going to be the greatest musicians in the world. Even if you didn't play well, he taught you like he expected you to be great. And so that inspired me.
Wow. Polly?
Yeah. So I think my inspiration is very similar to what everybody else has said. I had some fantastic music teachers and band directors. And the thing that sticks out most is they made me feel like I could do it. They made me feel like I could be successful. And they did have high standards. So I think that's what students are looking for. They want to be involved in something. They feel successful and they feel like they can do, and they feel like they fit in. And for me, that was definitely band, and it was definitely music. And I think about that a lot when I teach today too, because that's a really powerful thing to have teachers who actively push their students and believe in what they can do.
Good.
I guess that leaves me now. So what inspired me to pursue music as my lifelong profession is, for one thing, growing up during my childhood. I came from a musical family, and I can say that I got the best of both worlds. Like my father's side of the family, they were the musicians, like they were the singers. My great grandfather, I mean, he played the trombone and had his own band. And then versus my mother's side of the family, they actually valued education a whole lot. Like there are like the educators and as well as the professionals. So at least, I mean, I got the music side and the book smarts. So what inspired me to pursue music as my lifelong profession is, for one thing, I give all the credit to my high school band director. Because of him, his name is Mr. Wyman Jones. He too happened to be a Gramblinite, which is my alma mater. And he was the one that saw the potential in me, even when I did not even notice it in myself at the time. So because of him planting that seed in me, that's what really just had pushed me, just like, of course, beyond what I thought that I was capable of. And I was actually one of those go-getter students going through my high school band program. Like I've done it all. I was in all of the major performing music ensembles. I was in the jazz band, the marching band, symphonic concert band, symphonic orchestra, you name it. I've done it all. So I thought, wow, okay, I'm great at this. So because he actually just had planted that seed in me, then he was the one that actually had told me about the Hampton High School marching band camp that was like going on during the early 2000s. And I went there for 4 consecutive years. And that was how I first met Miss Roxanne Stevenson, just by being in her jazz ensemble a couple of years. So at first I had my eyes set on Hampton because the band director at the time, Mr. Barney Smart, I mean, just like God rest his soul, I actually just was going to go there until, unfortunately, he passed away in 2004, I believe, from a heart attack. And I was there at his funeral. So ever since then, I really did have a change of heart. So, and then after speaking with my high school band director, he told me about the Bayou Classic that used to air on NBC around Thanksgiving time. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, they really look amazing. And I certainly would love to be a part of that. So ever since then, he called a few of his folks, pulled a few strings. I went from Maryland all the way down to Louisiana. It was a huge culture shock, but it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I would not even trade it for anything. And ever since then, I just went to Grambling and graduated in 5 years with my bachelor's in music education.
All right. Miss Inga, you're not an official panelist, but come on.
Really?
Yes, really. Come on now.
I'll make it brief, guys. Me and my line sister number 2, we're from Detroit, so we grew up around music. Music was always a part of my life. I started out playing flute in 6th grade, and true story, my teeth were too big for the flute, so they were like, "We're gonna put you on bass," and I was like 13 years old, saying I gotta play from flute to bass, and I said, okay. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, okay, well, I'm a female bass player. And I stayed first chair all the way up through Jackson State, all the way up. 4 guys in Jackson State, I stayed first chair. I remember that. But my thing was like, I could be the only female bass player out there. But Esperanza Spalding, I think she beat me to it. Michelle Nader, they all beat me to it. So my major was business, and I kept that going. So I guess, I don't know, that was my inspiration, just being that bass player, keep going. Just keep going. So.
Great. Adding, very humble. But as you know, everything that we've been dealing with this national pandemic. So this was last year, this time, right? So Inger, I swear it was maybe the day before the world shut down. I had gone to where she lives in Delaware, and we were supposed to perform. There was a big show planned. It was her debut performance. She finally said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And that day is when the world shut down. We were literally at a restaurant. Inger was just crying. She was bawling. And so now we're in this pandemic and we're shut down, and we had a conversation, and I said, you know what? She took what most people, a lot of people looked at as a tragedy. And in the midst of this pandemic, she has now already released her 3rd single. She just did this since March 15th of last year. She just finally did it. You know how we have our dreams, our aspirations, and we kind of put things on hold, but she did it. And I attribute all the way back to Tau Beta Sigma and and how we are part of that organization. And we had that conversation, you know, you pledged and you made it through that. You can do anything you put your mind to. So I know she's being brief and humble, but I had to throw that in because she turned that pandemic into something that's very productive and prosperous for her now moving forward in her musical career. So shout out to my number 3, Lance.
My Dusha, I love you, baby. I love you. No, she was my inspiration too, because like she said, I was all geeked up. I was like, we're going to do this show, Francis. And I told her, what did I tell you this like a year before I had that idea at Thanksgiving at the table. I said, we're going to do a show and I want to do Anita Baker Sade tribute. I said, I may pay the Blaze, I may not, whatever, but I need you to practice on the Sade song. She came, like she said, here to Delaware to play with me on that. And we were ready to go. That concert was that Saturday, I think it was. And we were finishing up that rehearsal that Tuesday when everything shut down. So, yeah. Thank you for that inspiration, though. I mean, since then, I kept going.
Okay, now. Next question. This is where it's going to pull up like some probably bad memories. How difficult was it for you to be looked at as a candidate for a position?
I like to go. My story is a little strange or atypical. The high school that I teach at now is only a block away from my previous position, which was a K-8 situation. And I was a general music teacher, wanting so bad to teach band. I mean, I was really just teaching band after school because I taught pretty much the entire school by Friday. Those of you who know what like the block scheduling is, you just can't have band. It doesn't alleviate. And if you do, you'll lose those kids. And then, you know, you start over a year later. In that case, I had 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And by Friday, I saw all of them or taught all of them, and then band after school. And I decided that I was going to try to have a little marching band, a little parade band that would try to keep the interest of the students after school. I invited the local high school, which is Western High School, where I teach now. And it's very unique. It's the oldest all-girl public high school in the nation, celebrated 176 years. So my band is all girls. But at the time, I wasn't the band director. And I invited them, and the band director of 40 plus years, I believe, Charles Struther, he brought his group. And, you know, I've done some observation and some student teaching in his room, undergrad, but I didn't expect anyone to show up. I was trying to really change the culture of how band was looked at in the city at the time. They pretty much wiped out pretty much all instrumental music over time. And so my kids did like what I call a little French fry show, where they played on the stage and, you know, they memorized a song that literally had maybe about 4 or 5 notes to it. But I'm an arranger and you try to find things to engage them. And at the end, he asked, did I want his job? And I thought that was very strange. I was like, you don't really, he was like, I see what your kids can do. And so he said, well, if you're willing to work with me I'm about to retire, but if you're willing to come and work with my group, I'll give you my job. And I was floored because I'd been trying to get a high school position that whole time. I think Ms. Walker, she unmuted, and I think that's why you got the feedback.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I invited them, they came, and I said, I'll volunteer my time. I'll put in the work, and I shadowed him for 2 years. No guarantee that I would get the position, but I shadowed his program for 2 years. I taught, I think I had about an hour and a half break in the middle of the day. So I would get in my car, which should have been my lunchtime, and I would go and I would shadow his program. And he was sick at times, so I would voluntarily basically sub, not, you know, unofficially, they wouldn't have a substitute at times, and I would come and I would work with his group. And so his farewell concert, he allowed me to conduct a Semper Fidelis. I'll never forget it. He had about 800 people at his final concert at the school. He's just one of those educators that have been around, taught so many people. The mayor was there, you know, senators were there, but he stood up and he grabbed the mic and he told everyone in the audience, including the mayor and including people from the district, that if you don't hire her, it will be the biggest mistake you've ever made. And I got the position, but it was still with other people still were allowed to interview. And of course, and that's fair, but it was still up in the air, because when we talk about being a woman in this position, you can do a lot of work, but all it takes is a name that's not that a name or what they perceive should be the leader. And so I still was able to get the position.
Thank you for that.
I guess I'll go after you, Crystal. Man, that's interesting. So I've been teaching a long time. So it's gone from when it was vogue to have, to have women. Now we're a little more accepted. But when I started, I had teachers, well, not my high school band director, of course, but graduate school, who said that women had no business teaching music, and the best I can do is to teach junior high school. And I just told them that you're telling me I'm going to be unemployed because there are no junior high schools in Chicago. So I started out, I've taught everything. I mean, almost everything. I've had preschool, I've had elementary school, I had fifth grade math, 5th through 8th grade math, a 7th and 8th grade self-contained class, my first job, band after school, and a 7th and 8th grade choir. Then when I got ready to go to Gary to teach, I interviewed for the middle school, well, it was called junior high school then, for the junior high school job. And he gave me the elementary school job instead. And he gave another guy the junior high because he didn't think that women should teach band. And so I taught his elementary school, which is definitely the thing, you say, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. I've done everything I said I wouldn't do. So I taught elementary school and ended up with almost all the kids in the choir that was eligible. And so he had so many problems at the junior high school that on Mondays, he would send me to the junior high school to work the band program because the guy was struggling so. So I ended up with the junior high school band. The next year I had 263 kids in the band and 176 in the marching band in 7th and 8th grade. And that's kind of how Gary was. But I wanted high school. And he told me, he asked if I thought I could handle the inventory being female at all. So that was it for me. I interviewed for Chicago, but I took he gave me the high school job in January, I guess. In February, I had gotten certified in the city of Chicago, which had a separate certification than the state of Illinois. So I got certified and came to Chicago. So that's when it changed. I went to Dunbar High School at the request of the principal, as opposed. So I never looked for a job. So the principal asked me to come there to teach, and then I left and went to Chicago State. But the chairman of the department asked me to come there. I didn't know anything about Chicago State University at all. I had never, I had never been really on the campus. So, and lived right not too far from the school. So it just, the change in women can't do it to having somebody actually ask you to do it, is a welcome change. Now, I don't know if it's because they weren't expecting you to do very much or what. So that would be my story.
Anybody else?
I can go. So one of the few major challenges that I have encountered was after graduation of my bachelor's from Grambling in 2010. That's when I had moved back home to the DMV, Silver Spring, Maryland. And just long story short, I actually ended up doing a multitude of substitute teaching for 6 years before I finally have gotten my big break as a middle school band director. So, I mean, just like I was all over the place teaching music, art, PE, whatever it is I could get my hands on just to help support myself. And then during that midst of time, I thought, okay, well, that's when I decided to go ahead and pursue my master's in music education from Howard University because of their distinguished renown of faculty. And I was hoping that with me getting a master's was going to make me more marketable. But it's still just like right around at the time. I mean, that's when they were going through a lot of hiring freezes, and the challenge with our profession in music education is that when people get hired, they don't want to leave. So it was very, very competitive. So, I mean, of course, I mean, through it all, I was doing what I had to do. And then just finally through just a connection that I had formed when I was at Howard, they were the one that told me about an opening in Alexandria, Virginia, for a middle school. And then I found out that I was one of 5 candidates that was interviewing for the position. Then it went down to 2, and then I was the one that was selected. So ever since then, I have been very blessed. I've been very lucky, and I'm now wrapping up. Of course, I'm still like teaching virtually because of this current COVID pandemic situation that we're in right now. But at least I just really just like thank God that here I am. I'm just still going forward, and I've been very, very consistent, and I have never given up.
Anyone else?
Sure, I can sort of speak to my situation. So I knew I always wanted to teach music. I always wanted to be a band director. And after I was in my first year of college marching band, for me, that was it. That's what I wanted to do forever. I loved college marching band. I felt like that was where I fit in. Those were my people. And I loved the fact that it was so, I love the fact there were so many different people, and it was just an opportunity for people who liked music to come and be able to make music. As I started getting into wanting to do college marching band, though, it was different because I think people have an idea in their mind of what a college marching band director looks like. And that's generally not a woman. So that was a little bit of a challenge, I think. There were a lot of jobs that I applied for that I wasn't considered, some that I interviewed for and just didn't quite make it. I do think that having mentors helps. I mean, I've had some great mentors, and they've really helped me in terms of how to find some of those jobs and helping me kind of along that path. But I do think there's sort of an inherent challenge with people not having one idea in their mind about what the person in that position looks like. And if you don't match that, then I think sometimes that can be a challenge.
Anybody else?
I'll just add to what she just said. It's interesting how everyone's stories, kind of intertwine, and I have had very similar experiences. It's very interesting. I would say for me, it was difficult when I first started off teaching because at that time, they were making a lot of cuts in the district. Of course, the first to go are the arts, music, PE. And so at that time, the positions were just very scarce or not available at all. And so, we're, how we're very resourceful and creative. And so what I would do, as someone else mentioned, is I really poured my talent into the after school programs. Not even paid, some of them, brand new teachers starting out. So we would put on musicals and we had the kids, doing all kind of stuff. I mean, we would go into the band where it would just break my heart because the instruments would just be sitting there collecting dust. And, we couldn't have that. So I would have to call in the frats and the sorors, and they would come together, and we would put those programs together for those children and put on these major productions. We did The Wiz, we did Cinderella, we did Phantom of the Opera, and we had step teams. I had an all-boys step team. And so we would incorporate all of those things that we learned as music educators to just impart that knowledge into these children however we could, because at that time, the programs were cut. I do remember one difficult challenge I had because, we're go-getters and we go after what we want, right? So there was a position that came up in a district here that very primarily Middle Eastern district. Very closed district. And then you know anything about that culture, they're very closed as a culture. Everything they do pretty much is with each other. So me, being me, I applied for the position. Put my resume, I had all the qualifications, right? I put my information in. I went through several stages of interviewing. Finally, I was literally eye to eye with the superintendent. I don't even know if this happened, but I was eye to eye with the superintendent, just me and her. And I'm going through all my questions. I'm doing great. I had all the qualifications. I got this job, And because it was new to them, and they were going to incorporate the arts into their curriculum. And so she got frustrated. She had everything was covered except for her eyes. I remember we were looking at each other eye to eye. And she says, why should I hire you? And she took her glasses off and put them on the table, like, why you? Like she was upset that I fit the qualifications. And you know what I said? I said, because I have it. And I said, and you know it when you see it. And I got that job. And so that is something that I've always stuck with and tried to impart to young ladies in music, or just people in general, is if it's something that you want to go after it. Because your work, your body of work will speak for you musically. Your body of work, your reputation, your character, your integrity, that has always preceded me. And that is going to precede you and anyone else you're trying to inspire. Just do the work. And that will speak for you as far as overcoming any challenges that come your way to get that position.
Awesome.
Okay. So, I guess this question is pretty much blown out the water, because once I asked for how difficult it was for you to be looked at as a candidate, I'm hearing a whole lot of most difficult challenges as a music professional in your area. And a lot of you have alluded to that, just trying to get into your position. And it's also a challenge to get into those positions. Well, actually, I don't think we heard from Rashonda about how hard was it for her to get into a position.
It's been very hard for me to get a position as a band director. I was never given the opportunity. I was promised the opportunity when I took my first job, but they, did that smoke and screen thing where they promise you, oh, we're going to buy all these instruments, we're going to do this, do that, so you can start a band here. But it never came to fruition. So it was hard to actually get a position as a band director in the state of Arkansas for me. So I ended up moving to Texas. And in Texas, my first job there, it was for elementary music. So once I got that elementary music, I got that taste of elementary music, it kind of just took the band off the table for me, because that's my passion, the smaller kids. So I found my passion in the smaller kids, and I never tried to get a band director job again after that. But I was okay with that, because that's where I thrived, teaching the younger kids. So it was difficult to start out because they just didn't want us as a band director, in that lead position. I don't know if it was because they felt threatened or what it was, but the opportunities in Arkansas were not there for me. So I had to go elsewhere to get my start and then come back to Arkansas. So now I work with the drill team. It's not a band per se, but, we use the percussion instruments in the drill team, and we have some dancers, and we have pom-poms. So that's close enough for me, because I get to shape and mold the minds of those young students. And then they get the experience of going to different places that other kids don't get. I get to expose them to different cultures. So I'm okay with that.
Thank you, Rashonda.
Mm-hmm.
For the teachers, those of you who are currently teaching, which is everybody just about, there was a question that popped up asking about teaching during COVID. I know it's probably been hard because I was volunteering at a middle school with the band director, and he has conveyed to me there was some issues trying to make sure that the kids are on Schoology or whatever media site that is used and everything. And so Let's start with those in the elementary and work our way up to the collegiate level. It would probably be more of a flow up.
Yeah, I'm in elementary right now. I'm not teaching music in elementary per se. I'm teaching second grade because I got riffed from teaching music I was teaching music for 18 years and I got riffed from that position. Riff means reduction in force. So, you know, when they cut jobs, music is the first to go. So I was one of those people, but I had a backup plan. I also had a master's degree in early childhood education. So I was able to flow straight from the music classroom into the regular classroom as a second grade teacher. And I am in love with second grade. So, but teaching during this pandemic, it's been a whirlwind. You have your ups and you have your downs. And it's most gratifying when you see the light bulbs come on, when the kids are on the screen and, oh, I got it, you know, that kind of thing happens. So it's been challenging. It's not been easy at all. It's not a walk in the park. It has been challenging, very challenging, because the younger kids, they have to learn how to maneuver all of this technology. They have to know how to get to this Google Classroom or wherever you're wanting them to do work. The parents are frustrated because they don't know how to use the technology. They mad at you like you did something, you know, I didn't bring COVID around, you know. So we just all have to make sure we have empathy for one another and consider the challenges that we're facing and just move forward from there. But it has been very challenging. It has not been a walk in the park. The kids are struggling academically as well as mentally because they're away from their friends. They haven't been able to commingle and they're missing that interaction from one another.
One of the, let me see, who's that got the middle school?
I'll go. That's me. So in connection to what Ms. Rashonda was saying, yes, absolutely. This whole entire teaching through COVID really just has been, I would say for me, every single day, ever since the shutdown has happened a year ago, every single day I'm mentally drained, I'm exhausted. And just ever since the middle of February up until now, I've been trying to stay mentally sane from everything, because in the very beginning of the school year, I've been teaching virtually, and that alone has been a struggle. Just trying to find ways and strategies, just trying to keep the kids motivated, and even let alone, I mean, just to make sure that the parents are still are involved. But we all know that everyone is infected with this whole entire situation. And really, I mean, of course, like, you know, I'm looking at my calendar on my wall. And of course, I would not even forget exactly a year ago in March 13th of 2020, it was my day for my band assessment. That was where I had to take my kids to a school where they had to perform repertoire pieces in front of adjudicating judges. And my kids were ready. We was on a roll and everything. I was like, yes. And then what happened? They pulled the plug. We could not do the assessment. And my students, they were robbed. We were also supposed to go to Williamsburg for our spring trip or overnight trip in Great Wolf Lodge, and that was canceled due to COVID. And I think that the main people who are suffering and paying the price through this whole pandemic are the students. And I can just like tell just by looking at them at my screen. I mean, just sometimes as a teacher, as a band teacher, I feel very helpless. I can see it like right through my screen, how like my students, they're very tired, they're frustrated, even they're stressed out. And it even, of course, really, really does sadden my heart to hear from my students saying that, oh, Ms. Wilson, I have COVID, my family has COVID. And even just like what Ms. Rashonda just says, I mean, of course, the kids, I mean, they're suffering academically, even like right now, as far as with the pacing where they're supposed to be music wise, I mean, they're so far behind, and it really is, but so much that I can really, really do. And then, I mean, of course, I mean, I mean, I guess like because of the kind of person that I am, because I have like high standards for myself and for my students, you know, I mean, of course, I ended up just like a couple of my students ended up crying while we was on Zoom yesterday, all because I had showed them their grades and everything. And of course, it's not really entirely their fault, because we all know that the home environment is not the most ideal, conducive environment for students to live in. Let's face it. But just really, this whole entire thing really just has been very, very difficult. And I can just tell you, even after when things does start just to settle and when COVID does die down, I think it's just going to take roughly like at least a couple of years for us to recover in order just to get just everyone back on track. So that's just currently just where I stand, and I'm just taking it one day at a time, and I'm counting down until my spring break, until my summer break, and just keep on just pressing and moving forward.
We have we had high school.
Crystal.
Hello. I wanna definitely piggyback off some of the things that Don stated about the difficulty it is for our students. My district, we spent the summer changing the curriculum to virtual. In a lot of districts, I know that didn't happen. And so a lot of teachers were kind of left to fend for themselves with a lot of new technology, a lot of new things. We call it learning how to fly the plane while building it. And that's stressful on teachers, and especially band directors, where we already carry so much weight. We are parents, we are counselors, we're police officers, we're all those things to our students. And then you added this pandemic on it, and it does cause a lot of stress. And of course, depending on the type of area you teach in, like I teach in inner city, Baltimore City, a lot of kids, school is their safe haven. And even more so, the band room or the music room or the arts room is where they get to emote their emotions, and they get to express themselves, and all the problems that they may deal with kind of gets left at the door. But now you have kids who are in their homes where those problems, they don't get a break. And I think what we're seeing with a lot of our kids is that they're not getting a break. So they're just shutting down. And then you still have districts where they're still trying to have assessments. And this is definitely not the environment or the time to think about state testing and high stakes testing. And so our kids, what we're seeing is trauma. We're seeing trauma in our teachers, we're seeing trauma in the kids, we're seeing trauma in the parents. And, we can always point fingers around in a circle about who's doing what or who's not doing their job. But trust me, Baltimore City gets a whole lot of flack. We stay in the news. But what we're missing is that our kids have long been social emotional learners for longer than we may even realize, especially when we're talking about band kids. And because those needs aren't being met, it's being reflected academically. And there's only but so much that the teacher can do from a screen like this. Like Don, I am completely still virtual. I have a heads up because I kind of started to look at some of the things that the more affluent and the different social economic situations and counties around me were doing. And I started to try to find a way to get those resources well before the pandemic. So my kids are used to certain things that other districts or even other schools in our district aren't used to. And so they're not intimidated as much by the technology. But if you are from a school where you barely have budgets just to buy reeds and mouthpieces, and now you're using some technology on computers where kids haven't been using computers as much as some of their counterparts, it's a learning experience for everybody. It causes a lot of stress for everybody. I am personally not stressed out. Like I said, I'm the music tech chair, so that kind of makes me, you have to assume that I'm pretty techie. And my kids, they get a lot of confidence in that because I am a techie person. But if you're just learning how to do it, it does create anxiety. What I do want to say is that it's not going anywhere. What it has done is it's brought out that there's a lot of things our kids need, technology-wise included, that our kids have, it's inequity. They haven't had it. And so I implore educators, don't run backwards, because what you're going to do is create a further gap in the things that they'll be using on higher ed, they'll be using in their jobs. So it's painful as it can be. And it was painful for me 10 years starting that way, but I didn't have the pressure of a pandemic. I would say keep some of those practices, because at the end of the day, they're going to see them again, and they're going to have to kind of get used to some things that have been around for 20 and 25 years that you just might have gotten, 5 months ago.
Do we have any more high school teachers? Or I think it's college now. Polly or Roxanne?
Sure, I can speak to my situation at Virginia Tech. First of all, I think, at least from my perspective and from talking to my friends who are public school teachers who teach middle school and high school, it seems like it's much easier on my end as opposed to what public teachers are having to do. A lot of them are trying to manage having in-person and having virtual, and they're trying to make those two work. And I think there's so many inherent challenges that they have. My situation, I feel pretty lucky that I can have my groups meet in person. It's obviously not the same. For our marching band, we had to have things very much whittled down, and it was just a totally different kind of experience. I think the positive to that maybe was because it's really easy, and it was really easy in my job to be very focused on, okay, here's the next football game, the next performance, we have to be ready for the next show, and that's the most important thing to do. And when we didn't have that, I think it was easier to focus on, we get to be together and we get to see each other and we get to make music together, and that's awesome. So I know I was really grateful that we got to do that, and I know the students were really grateful for that opportunity too. This spring, having band inside now, so having a concert band inside is different too. It's just, it feels like band is all about being social and being excited and happy. And inherently, I think when you have masks and when you have distance, you take some of that element out. And so that's been kind of hard, but I think just the opportunity to be able to meet in person I'm so grateful for that, and so grateful to be able to work with the students. The one class I do teach virtually, I teach piano virtually. So I'm teaching piano. The students don't have pianos. I don't have a piano. So it is a weird class. It's like telling them, this is what it feels like to play the piano, and you just have to kind of figure it out, which doesn't make any sense. Music is all about experiences and experiential learning. So it's weird. And it's also weird in a Zoom format when you feel like you're talking into a void and you don't see their expressions. So you can't immediately tell, are they getting this? Do they like this? Do they understand what's going on? And that's frustrating as a teacher, because you want to be able to get that immediate feedback so that you can focus your lessons in a way that's the best for them. But I think, kind of going off of what Crystal said too, I think we have found some ways that we can still make this work. And I think that's great. And so there are some things that we've had to reconsider, and I hope we don't lose some of those things that we've had to re-examine, I think, during this really very unusual time.
Thank you. Miss Stevenson.
Hi. Okay, so we might be slightly different. Well, one, I get to meet my students on campus. I'm not teaching any of my classes virtually. Every now and then something will happen and we'll have to go, back to being virtual. But it is still creating issues for us. One, we just started a marching band the semester before the pandemic. We never had a marching band. So to start that and to see how it can grow, and then to just kind of worry about that momentum, has been difficult. And to have so many students that are struggling, needing to work because parents have lost jobs and all of this kind of thing. So now I'm looking at a different financial situation where students were already struggling, and now we're adding a struggle on top of the struggle. And then the third thing, the reason to be in Chicago, a lot for being in school is to be able to gig, to be able to get to play. Because I'm listening to you all talk about how they lose the arts programs first, and we're desperately seeking music teachers here. You know, I don't have a student yet that's unemployed. Every student, even the ones that don't finish the music ed program, they get the charter schools. So, you know, the school districts here are very much struggling to get people, but to take that away, I think that to me has a lot to do with just the psyche of the student. So they're not able to gig, they're not able to go to jam sessions. And, you know, we had students that were collecting together and coming on campus and picking people up just to go to jam sessions. And that's been a problem. You know, that to me has been a downer. And to not have the community, because of where we're situated, we have the community bands, the community concert band, community jazz band. Whereas when if we have a day off, I have people that complain and say, why y'all having a President's Day, you know, and they look at it, this is my release, because they like coming on campus. So to not have that group of people either, you know, it's like being in isolation, and to walk through a campus and not see people on a regular basis, that is kind of, it's not as spooky as being in an empty church, but it's still kind of spooky. So I think that we need to look at it. It's more what it does to the emotional aspect of that college life. You go to college, you make lifelong friends, and you know, so those are things they're not able to do. They're still sneaking and doing it, but you know, you're not supposed to be in each other's room and all that other stuff. So I hope that we try to make band rehearsal the escape. And then because we're here up north and it gets cold, we can't do outside as much as other people. So we were, I mean, God really blessed it. We really were outside all the way up through November. And then now we're starting, I mean, it's got absolutely cold, and then now it's warm, and then they say it's going to snow on Sunday. So we just kind of wait for the weather, you know, to try to make sure that we can have better interactions and keep up with the students. Yeah.
Well, we've got only about 14 minutes, so we're going to end this on a positive note, pretty much. Because I think you're scaring everybody who wants to be a music teacher and everything.
Oh,
everybody's like, I don't want to do all of this Zoom and Skype and Schoology. They're starting to freak out. So what advice would you give to future women in music? Anybody? What advice would you like to give to future women in music? Pretend you're talking to one of your students.
I would probably tell them that, you know, music can take you wherever you want to go. It can take you as far as you want to go. You have to first believe in you and never give up on your dreams. Don't let the feelings and the thoughts of others deter you from achieving what you want to do in life. You are capable and you can do it. So just believe in you and keep pushing. You're going to always be faced with challenges. You just have to keep pushing.
My advice would be, as I always tell my students, we have a lot of church musicians, and that is, don't let one man determine whether your family eats or not. So push forward to make sure that you have that other avenue stream. Get the degree, because that no one can ever take away from you. And I always tell them, you know, if you don't feel that you're welcome where you are, you go, if you're female and they don't want you to be in their band, their group, start your own. That's how they say, well, how do you get your bands to be able to play the Midwest and everything? Well, I started my own band. So if they don't want you to play with their team, then you get your own ball, your own game, and you start your own. And I believe that your gifts will make room for you.
My advice is one of the things that I'm currently doing right now. Is that me or someone else? Okay. So one of the things that I'm currently am practicing right now is just like on the show Being Mary Jane, how she would have all those posted sticky notes all around her house. I actually just like have I guess like printouts of things that I would tell myself, and they're taped around my wall in my apartment. And one of my messages to reassure myself is, it says, "Be bold, Dawn." And that will be my advice to any upcoming young aspiring music educators, musicians, or whatever career path it is that you would like to pursue. Just be bold. I mean, if I was bold, look at where I am right now. So just be bold and everything. And just to lean back on to what a couple of you all were saying is just to even like to assure to them that they're not alone, that there's nothing that they're going through right now that I'm pretty sure that any of us have not been through. So they're not alone. Be bold. If you have a goal, I mean, just keep on just like pushing forward and just shove it in your mind and do not even stop, because life is too short.
I guess I'll go. Something that I wish I had had someone tell to me is that you know what you're doing, and trust your education and trust what you learn in school and from your mentors and your professors, because often as women, we often downgrade what we actually can do because we're afraid of scaring off opportunity, and in a sense you end up putting opportunity out of your grasp. So I would say trust what you know, trust that you have been taught well and that you'll be fine, and definitely don't compare yourself to what other programs are doing. You're going to have to make your own path, and be confident in that path that you track, good or bad, because at the end of the day, it's got to be your program. And I would even caution how many people you allow into your program when you're developing it. You have to grow with the students, and the students have to grow with you. And if you open it up too soon, you find that they don't necessarily trust what you can do because you've let the doors open to maybe not be the professional that they should trust.
I guess I agree with everything that everybody said. I think for me, finding a mentor, so finding someone that I could trust and I felt confident in their advice was really helpful. Somebody that is doing the kind of job that I wanted to do, and being able to talk to them and ask them how they did it and how they were able to be successful was super helpful. And I also loved, Francis said earlier, the importance of just doing the work. And I think that's so important too. I think you look at what you can offer, and your job is to make people be able to see that. And a big part of that is doing the work and figuring out the outlet where you can demonstrate these skills that you have and you can make it happen for yourself.
I think if I was speaking to a young girl, a musician, someone going into music, first thing that came to my mind was turn off the lights. What do I mean by that? I remember when we were at Jackson State University and when we had to learn something new. At a certain point of the learning, our band director, Mr. Paul Adams, would shut off the lights. And we would not leave that band hall until we knew that piece. And then I began to incorporate that into my own personal practice. When I'm trying to learn something to perform, or I turn off the lights and I don't leave that room until I have it. And not just having it, I would tell them to let their horn, whatever your instrument is, even if it's your voice, let your horn tell your story. Let that tell your story. And you will hear that story when you turn off the lights. First, it's just notes and it's fundamentals and you're technical. But the more you get into it and master your craft, it will tell the story. And that's what separates someone who's just playing notes from someone who is performing and touching souls. So I would tell them, turn off the lights. I don't care if it's an interview for the job. We keep talking about not being able to get these jobs and getting told no. No, that's unacceptable. We don't accept no. Turn off the lights. Practice those questions, practice those interviewing skills, get it all together. So when you get in front of that interview panel, you own that room and you walk out with that job. So I would tell them, turn off the lights and never, and I mean never, take no for an answer, because your work, your story will get you through any door that you can imagine. I would tell these young girls that, and I tell them that because we are very quick to accept the no. I don't accept the no. If it's a no, it's because I chose it not for it not to happen. So we have to put this back into our young musicians, because just being a musician alone is genius. It's not for the everyday person, just can't do what we do. So that in itself already puts you at an advantage. You're a genius already. Turn off the lights, get quiet, get still, pray, and step out of that room when your story can be heard. That's what I would say.
This is like a
Amazing.
conversation I had with Frances not too long ago when I talked to her on the phone. And me and Frances we go way back. And even as a grown woman, I know that you know, this is what you would tell a young woman who's trying to get into this field. But, you know, I'm transitioning into another part of my life as well. You know, my son is getting ready to start, you know, in high school and enter college. And I'm going to have to find myself something else to do. So for me, that's you all are telling me to keep pushing too. So I am inspired by you all, you know, in my next phase of life. So I thank you all for that.
Is there anyone out there who's just watching this? Do you have anything, any questions of our panelists? Oh, we just gonna be just shy today.
I have a question. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, I'm a student currently at Chicago State under Professor Stevenson. And my question, being a music educator, how do you know where to go? Like, how do you know if you really want to teach high schoolers or collegiate? Like, how do you know if you want to stay in the city or experience going down south? Like, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity, but I don't know where I would feel most comfortable at when I do graduate next year.
Ariel, since you see me all the time, I let other people answer the question, but there's no reason you can't try it all. No one says you have to have all the answers right away. And I think that's what happened when students go to college. Everybody wants you to know what you want to do with the rest of your life, you know. And so anyway, I'm going to let Polly answer that question.
I was just going to say, I think very similar to what Dr. Stevenson said. I think that really, I think this is a great time for you to try all kinds of new things. And that's an awesome opportunity that you have right now. When I started teaching, I was teaching high school and I absolutely loved it. I also taught middle school and I loved it. So I think, you know, every place that I ended up teaching, there were different great things about it. So you don't have to know right now, and you don't have to feel this sort of like pressure of I have to know now, and if I don't, that's a problem, because chances are you'll like the things that you try, and now trying is a great opportunity to figure out what you do want to do.
I would also like to answer that question. I would also like to answer a question, if you wouldn't mind, Ariel. I would, my advice to you, Ariel, is just like how you are here right now listening to this panel of all these different female music professionals. Don't be afraid just to reach out to any of us. So just like reach out and just like start with where you are right now. And even earlier in the conversation, just like how, part of us actually being just like a music educator is where you have to go and just like visit different band directors or music educators by just observing in different classrooms. That's what I did, because I was never afraid of asking, or even let alone just like speaking and introduce myself. Hey, I'm Dawn Wilson. Would you mind if I was just to sit in your classroom and just to watch? Of course, a lot of people I know are okay with that. And then that's what just may lead into one thing, into another. They may even just like call you just to either teach or just to cover for them. And then that could lead into something else. So definitely, of course, just don't be afraid just to reach out, and even let alone just by going into a music classroom and just to sit down. And then that way, of course, they're able just to steal ideas as far as, okay, I like this, I like that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. And then just even as to, I mean, you're a college student. I mean, just go to other places, maybe around just like the country, and even just to watch and observe, and just to definitely don't be afraid to ask questions.
And Ariel, one of the other things that you may want to consider, I've taught every grade level, and I honestly loved everything that I've done, even if it wasn't what I wanted to do. But so you can't be afraid to leave a job to take the next step, like don't allow yourself to get stuck if that's not your best fit just because it's a good fit, if that makes sense. I like teaching the kids. I enjoy teaching math 5th through 8th grade, but that was not what my end goal was. So, there's going to be something you're going to gather from each one of those opportunities that's going to make you best at your next step. So don't be afraid to always take that next step.
Okay, our last question is coming from Lynetta Thomas. So go ahead.
Hi, yes, I have a question for Rashonda Jones in particular, Miss Rashonda Jones. I heard you talking about being from Arkansas and then you traveled to Texas, and it kind of hit me because when I was younger, I started music in Mississippi when I was a child. And then because I kept going back and forth from my mom and dad from Chicago to Mississippi. I started music in Mississippi, and then I would come back to Chicago, and then I did band in Chicago in high school. Then I left and went to do the military, and then I came back to music again under Dr. Stevenson. And it was so weird because it was a difference in music, and it wasn't like I remembered the Southern tradition of how we did it in band in the South. And just your story here, like how you just like, okay, I can't do it how I want to do it, but this is the transition. And that's like so inspiring. Like, okay, because I'm 29. I'm 29 right now, and I'm too old to be in college, but I'm still going. And so it's very inspiring to see somebody just keep going no matter what was thrown at them, and always having that backup plan.
Keep pushing. Mm-mm.
And just to add to that, Miss Lynetta, you're never too old to be in college. You're never too old to keep learning. So keep pushing and keep pursuing your dream and your passion, whatever that may be. Stay encouraged.
Yes, always stay encouraged. I have a sister who is 51 years old, and she's currently working on a master's degree. She just got her bachelor's degree when she was maybe 48, and she's been working on her master's degree for the last 2 years. And I've been helping her, but I've tried to encourage her to just keep pushing. It doesn't matter how old you are, just keep pushing. If you have that dream and you have those aspirations,
I think Rashonda froze.
in Christ. So I put my faith in Christ, and I just keep pushing. I didn't get the job for me. So my advice is just keep pushing and you'll get there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. It will happen. And coming from the South, it's just like, I can't explain it. I mean, I was in Arkansas and I moved to Texas. So that transition for me, it was a transition because I felt like I couldn't get the opportunity I wanted in Arkansas. So I felt like I had to go elsewhere. Well, I had family in Texas. I had a sister who was in Texas. So I moved to Texas, and that's where I fell in love with the elementary music classroom. So that transition for me, even though I didn't get the opportunity I wanted in Arkansas, when I moved to that different state, I got the opportunity that I was supposed to have, that God had purposed for me, fell into my lap. So it may be when one door closes, another one opens. And that's what happened with me. So just keep pushing, keep the faith, and everything will be okay.
Thank you.
I know we're about out of time, but I do want to say, because I get a lot of older students, that the ladies on this seminar today, I mean, we have children. Some of them will be on different meetings and you're cooking dinner. So Lynetta, these people are doing it with kids in tow, and some are helping to take care of parents and all of that. So we still do family, as women do. And we still juggle this profession. So you're totally capable. And Ariel also.
Thank you, Dr. Stevenson.
That's the guys that's listening in too, So for you all, if you don't know, we never had TBS in Chicago. So we are the first chapter of TBS, and we're the first chapter, we're the only chapter now of KK Psi. But Chicago has had a KK Psi chapter, but it's the first on our campus. So everything that we're doing right now is brand new, So they did chime in. So thank you guys for tuning in. So I know we're out of time here.
You want to do one more question, Shauna?
We'll be pushing if we tried to, but I really wanted to end on a positive note for everybody and to give encouragement and everything. And most of the other questions are positive, but I don't think we're going to have enough time to even get one more question out. But I myself would like to thank the panelists. Y'all have inspired this old drill sergeant. I might have to put my hat back on and start running through the troops like I used to. But I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from the UAPB Kappa Kappa Psi Tau Beta Sigma Regional Alumni Association. Thank you from Tau Beta Sigma and KK Psi all over the world for doing this. For everybody who's watching on Facebook, on YouTube, thank you for attending, and we hope you guys get some encouragement. Maybe want to look up one of our panelists to see if they can give you a few more insights and everything. And I'm going to turn this back over to our professional development chair.
So again, thank you everybody for participating today. I want to send a special shout out to our committee, Maureen Carroll and Shauna Holmes, who are on the professional development team. So we want to say thank you very much for tuning in today. Thank you for all of the panelists, Roxanne Stevenson, Dr. Polly Middleton, Don Wilson, Crystal Williams, Francis Walker, Rashonda Jones. Did I get everybody? Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. And Inger. I know you're not on the panel, but we are counting you in. So thank you everybody for sharing your wisdom, pouring into to us and to these students. We have a lot of students on here from Chicago State. So I thank even all the students for taking time to just hear what these women, these awesome women had to tell us and share their musical journey with us. It's awesome. As I was reading their bios, like, man, I was amazed. That was a lot of stuff. I don't feel like I've done enough for my career. I'm like, wow, like that was a lot of stuff. So keep pushing, ladies. But Francis would say, what did she say? Turn off the lights. I love that. Turn off the lights and just sit in silence. Turn off the lights. Don't be afraid to grow, to learn, to be all you can be. So thank you, ladies, during this Women's Month. We hope that we can have more of these events and keep this conversation going. So again, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in.